What can Germany do in lane 5? Ukraine won out for Germany's blood in this race. They want to get through the Germans. Germany have really had their disappointments this season. Okay, over on that far side of the course, it is Ukraine 2, the youngsters. In the stroke seat is Yevin Burim, Darina Kashanova, 18 years of age, in the Cox's seat. There's the Romanians, Marie Stefan Dunker, just 19 years of age, and Maria Antona Iancu, 15 years of age, in the Cox's seat. So this is the revamped Australian crew. Jack O'Brien back in the stroke seat, the Sydney University Boat Club, former St Joey's oarsman. What's he going to do to this crew? Is it going to make a step change? Ukraine won. They are stroked by Oleksiy Solovianov. And this is a crew made up from the men's 4 and the men's quads who didn't make the Olympics. Germany have changed their crew around. Hannes Otschek went out of the stroke seat. Matthias Schöner went into stroke, who did it last year. And then they said, OK, Hannes, you're not strong enough for the 2 seat. We're going to bring Fred Brewer in, the former Cal oarsman, California Berkeley from Bonner Rudder Gesellschaft, and he's in the 2 seat. So the Olympic silver medalist is out of the German 8. And, well, the Australians were quicker than at Lucerne. I talked to their coach, Mark Prater, this morning. He said we're moving quicker. There's Jack O'Brien closest to us, Angus Dawson behind him. They've pretty much shifted around all of their 8. And for me, Australia got to win this by, I don't know, they've got to beat Germany by, I reckon, a couple of lengths.
I was going to say a couple of lengths, Martin.
Couple of lengths. The Germans, if they can get within a length of Australia, that's a great result for them.
And they'll have had a stern talking to the Germans after the preliminary race that you and I watched on the in the airport once we'd landed here in Poznan, and we were just so surprised by the margin. That
there didn't seem to be any urgency in those first 10 strokes from Germany, and OK, so they're going to try and keep their 250 to 500 speed, you know, very similar. But it was quite a cool control start from Germany, which kind of means, OK, now they're going to be right into their pace. It is Ukraine 1 that are leading the Germans out at this stage of the race. And you can just see the guy in the 4 seat of Ukraine 1. That's Demi Hula, and he's from Kherson, that town which has been absolutely destroyed by the war in Ukraine. He is a member of Kherson Rowing Club, which has been flattened, sadly, by the war. You can just see him there with the ponytail outside his white hat. That's Dimi there, speaks fantastic English. The Ukrainian team are going back to Ukraine after this competition. They hope they're going to come out for the head of the Charles, and their target is the Germans. So we're coming up to 500 metres. I think the Australians are going to have to do something special in this second quarter. I kind of would have expected that they're leading, but just 0.9 on the Germans.
And I guess the question is, Martin, how much is it that the Germans have had to talk themselves around and step on, and how much is it that, you know, the Australians aren't performing where they need to be? And I guess it's somewhere in the middle, right? Because you'd not be expecting the Australians to only be a canvas up based on Friday's performance.
No, based on Friday's performance, I think, you know, this is an improved German turnout. Then we see Jack O'Brien in the stroke seat, Angus Dawson behind him, the Adelaide oarsman. You can see that lead gradually edging out, and the fastest moving boat in the course, Germany, 21.2. They've come down a little too slow. Australia are edging away in this second quarter. Ben Egling, the favourite Harmonia Hamburg oarsman. There's Tobin Johannesson just coming in, the 6th man who took that silver medal in the 8 in Tokyo. One of the Olaf Morgenstock and Lawrence Follett were his crewmates in that boat, and Matthias Schöner 24-year-old, into the stroke seat. He took this boat to an Olympic qualification by stroking them in the World Championships last year, and it looks like Ukraine haven't hung on to Germany. The question is, who's going to do what in this third quarter? Are the Australians going to push out on the Germans? That's what they need to do.
They do, and 6 of this Australian crew were in that time that they last clinched a gold medal at the World Rowing Cup, which was World Cup 3 last year in Lucerne, and so they need to be able to produce a performance akin to that here to really be on the path.
I like what the Germans are doing. I mean, OK, they haven't got the best power in the world, but they've got a nice flow forward. They're taking the front end really quite well. They're into their rhythm. There's their coxswain looking across, Jonas Wiesler, the 27-year-old. Just keeping them informed of the distance. He wants to look to his left, to the Ukrainians. They're still ahead of them. They've kind of just lost a bit of contact with the Australians. But, you know, Germany's had so many poor results in recent races that, you know, this is good for the Germans. If they can find something in the last quarter, find an overlap on the Australians. There's Kendall Brodie looking across, the Australian cox, the Sydney Rowing Club member.
But I guess
there's Jack O'Brien, the Olympic medalist, Spencer Turin. I just wondered how he was going to fit in technically to that boat. They've had a good third quarter, the Australians, Camilla.
They have, and I just wonder how much the Germans have put into keeping tabs on the Australians in that first half.
Yeah, I know. You know, looking at this boat, the Australian, I always thought blending the 4, you know, people like Jack Hargreaves, like Spencer Turin, like Alex Pennell, just blending them into the rhythm of the 8, which was really so smooth last year. We're looking at the Germans again. There's that smoothness. They'll need to find something extra as we come into the last 300 metres. Johan Nason just putting on. Schönerer has led them well. The bow, number 4. The Ukrainians are having a look at the Germans. Clear water for the Australians, but they need to do something special as we come into the last 200 metres. Remember, they are looking, they have put all their eggs in this 8 basket. All the best Australian men are in this Australian men's 8, and for them, only gold medal will do in Paris. As it comes up to 9 o'clock in Sydney, we hope you're enjoying this final race of World Cup 3 as Australia come up to the line. Ukraine charge back on the Germans. It is Australia who are coming up to take the gold medal. The final race before the Paris Olympics in World Cup 3. Australia win that gold medal. Germany take the silver, another silver medal for Germany in a competition this season. Ukraine can't quite manage to get through them and will settle for the bronze medal. Romania, the Romanian youngsters, 19 and 20-year-olds, will take the 4th place, and Ukraine 2. Great to see 2 Ukrainian crews. I'm not sure they'll be going to the World Under-23 Championships because it costs a lot of money, but they'll certainly remember this race here. So what do you think? Do you think that was good enough from the Australian men?
I don't know if it's good enough for them to be on the podium in Paris, if I'm really honest, Martin. But you're right, they put all their eggs in one basket. It's just a real guessing game, right, of how much the legacy of the Deutschland actor is crumbling and how much the Australians have stepped on and really banked on this boat as a winner for the upcoming games. So, for me, I think we needed to see something utterly dominant from the off, you know, not in the second half. They had a great second half, like you said, they stepped on really well in the third 500. It was a comfortable margin by the end, but we needed to see them a length up at 500, I think, for them to be anywhere near the likes of your USA, GB.
The only thing, I think the Germans are moving better. I think they're, you know, we talked about the looseness. So maybe, you know, in terms of the Australian result, where they had clear water on the Germans, you know, we listened to their coach, Mark Prater, who says the boys are moving faster, the Germans are moving faster. OK, so, but I'm with you. I think, you know, to be at the top of the podium, to be up with the Brits and the Americans who were out in front in Lucerne, the Romanians we haven't seen for a while, but I think they need to, you know, go back to the ETC in Varese, the European Training Centre, find a little bit of extra speed, maybe a bit more pace off in the first quarter.
But that's all pace that comes in that final build-up, right? That's exactly the top-end speed. And Australia there, you can see 5 seconds over Germany in gold medal position, silver for the Germans.